review for Body Snatchers 1993, the Abel Ferrara directed version. So this is the third adaptation, and then there's another one called Invasion that was in the 2000s of the book by Jack Finney, The Body Snatchers. So this one pretty much just takes place on a military base. It stars Gabriel Anwar. She's pretty much the star. Her father works for the EPA. He's played by Terry Kinney. Christine Elise is in this, which is cool because she's in Chucky 2, and I guess the Chucky TV series, but I haven't seen that. So I thought that was cool when she showed up. But I did like the movie. It's at least different. I haven't seen the original, but I really like the 70s one. Now, if I had to put the two to which is better, and I've seen Invasion, the late 2000s, I think this is better than Invasion. um and but not quite as good as the 1978 one. I think the 1978 one has better characters. Maybe the actors are a little more interesting, I'd say. I mean, you got Donald Sutherland, you have Spock. You have what's her name? You have Jeff Goldblum, you have Brooke Adams, Veronica Cartwright, Spock, Leonard Nimoy. I think the characters are just more fully realized and better. But like in that, I mean, he works like the Department of Health, I think, Donald Sutherland, and in this, it's the EPA. I did enjoy the movie. Terry Kinney, who plays her dad, is basically tasked to go test the water supplies and make sure that they have a lot of toxic chemicals there, and make sure that they're not leaking off the base. And for some reason, he has his family with him. I don't know. Maybe they explained that a little bit in the beginning, but I mean, like the little kid at multiple points in the movie's like, I want to go home. So they have a home, and he has a wife, although it's the stepmother. Basically, his wife, the mother of Gabriel Anwar, died, and Meg Tilly is his wife, and they have a little kid. And I guess she's the real mom of him. I thought the kid was a good actor too. He's got some good scenes, and starts off a little slow. They're going there, and they stop at a gas station. They're getting gas. She goes to the bathroom. There's a guy in the bathroom, and he's like, pulls a knife on her, and he's like, "Are you one of them?" He's like, they take you when you sleep. She flips out, goes gets her dad, and then the guy's gone. And you see him later in the movie. But yeah, I did like it. I like Abel Ferrara as a director. I like King of New York. He also did Bad Lieutenant. He's an interesting director. I think he makes some bold choices that I like. And in this, I thought it was cool that it was at a U.S. military base in Alabama, basically for the whole movie. Thought that was nice. Keep it different than the original, or well, the 1978 one. Whereas that's in San Francisco, that's in a city, big city. This is a military base. I mean, in a military base that already encouraged conformity, you would say. encourage on some level sameness, allegiance to the flag, to military structure, to your commander. Commander played by Lee Army. Thought that was cool. He's not in it that much, but that was nice. He's the father of Christine Elise, and she's kind of like this bad girl. And her and Gabrielle become friends, basically before shit hits the fan. So, um, always nice to see Lee Army. You know, great actor. Obviously, his best work was with Kubrick, but whenever I see him in a movie, he's really good, and you definitely pay attention when he's on screen. But this is kind of like a forgotten um, body snatchers movie. I mean, as far as I can, when I talk to people, people that are into movies like remember the first one and the 78 one. I think the 78 one is the most beloved. And then the movie The Invasion in 2010 or something is totally forgotten. And I didn't think that movie was that great. And I've also heard that that movie had a bunch of problems behind the scenes, and they had to bring in people to ghost direct it. I've heard the Wachowskis partly ghost directed that movie. I don't know if that's true. These may just be rumors. So that's what I've heard. But um, let's see here. Who directed that movie? I think it's called The Invasion. It's 2007. Nicole Kidman, Oliver Hirschbiegel. Oh, he did Downfall. Oh wow. Well, that's a good movie. But I don't know. I have heard that rumor that there was a bunch of problems behind the scenes, and the Wachowskis were brought in to kind of clean it up and to reshoot some stuff. I don't know if it's true, but anyways, Body Snatchers. Um, yeah, I did like it. It's all in a small area, kind of. So in a way, it's kind of claustrophobic, which I liked. I think the setting of the military base makes sense. Like I said before, I think Abel Ferreira is a good choice for the director. The effects are pretty good. Like when they're taking over the body of people, like when she's like in the bathtub and it's going in and it's slowly going up and then it covers your face and then it's creating the other body above, and then the ceiling collapses because it can't hold the weight of a body. I thought that was a cool way to interrupt the process. Thought that was different. And then she goes and wakes up her father, who's being assimilated, and the little kid. And Meg Tilly was already assimilated. I mean, spoilers. I mean, it's like it's body snatchers. Almost everyone is going to become a body. Is get their body snatched. That's just what happens. And then Meg Tilly is already one of them. I liked how the little kid walked into her room, and then she was already assimilated, and then her normal body just turns into like mush. The little kid sees that, then she walks out, and then the little kid is like, "Oh, that's not my mom. My mother's dead." And he keeps saying that, and the father doesn't believe him. And before that, I thought it was a really nice touch in the movie when it's him with all the other little kids, and they're drawing pictures, and then the teacher's like, okay, you know, now lift the picture up, and then all these little kids all draw the exact same picture, basically like, vines and stuff, like how it like goes over your face and assimilates you. And then but then he puts his up and his is totally different. And then he's kind of looking around like, this is creepy. And then he kind of runs away and he's like, they wanted to put me to sleep, and that's when they take over, but no one will believe him until, like I said, the body drops into the tub, and then she wakes everyone up. So that's when shit hits the fan. That's when everyone is believed, basically. So Forrest Whitaker's in this, barely, as Dr. Collins. Early in the movie, he goes up to Terry Kin, Kinney, I guess, the dad, works for the EPA, and he's like, have you noticed any strange effects of these chemicals? And he's like, well, they're toxic to the body. And he's like, no, I'm talking about the mind. And he's like, well, look, man, I don't know, I'm not a psychiatrist. Like, he's like, I'm a chemist. And then he's like, can this change your mind? Can it cause paranoid delusions? Because he's saying, I guess he's dealing with family members who come into him and say, like, my husband isn't the same, my wife isn't the same, my child isn't the same, I don't think they're human anymore. So he's dealing with that. And then you see him in one scene later in the movie, pretty good scene, but I kind of wish he was in the movie more. But the movie's not that long. I don't know if there's another cut of this movie, but I watched, I guess, the theatrical cut. It's like less than an hour and a half. I thought it could have gone on maybe a little longer, but you know, it was well paced. I mean, it's not boring. So, but I think you could add like 5 or 10 minutes to it. But yeah, slowly people are getting assimilated. I keep saying assimilated like it's Star Trek, like they're the Borg. They kind of are the Borg, though, right? Christine Elise, she says her mom's an alcoholic. Early in the movie, they don't really show it, but you get the feeling she's about to be assimilated. And then later on, when Gabrielle goes to her house, she says, like, she goes upstairs with her and she's like, here, drink this. And then she's like, it's water. And then she's like, yeah, this is weird. My mom's drinking water now. And then she's like, well, maybe she quit alcohol. And then she's like, are you kidding? She would be like going crazy because, she's an alcoholic. And then she's acting weird, the mother. So she was, assimilated. So, and then she meets this guy. I think it's Billy Worth. And he's in the military. He's a pilot, which becomes important later because they are able to get out of there and use the pilot to take off and leave. Pretty brutal scene with the little kid because she's trying to find her brother because they get captured. He rescues them. Can't find the brother. Right when they're taking off, the little kid's like, "Hey, don't leave me, help me." And then he jumps on, and then when they're in the air, the little kid starts like attacking the pilot, trying to crash the plane or the helicopter. And then the guy's like, "It's not your brother anymore. Throw him out. Throw him out of the helicopter." And she throws him out. And then on his way down, falling, he was like pointing at her, screaming, in that voice, that iconic voice, which happens a few times in the movie, and that happens in the 1978 version. I need to watch the 50s one, because I wonder if it happens in that too. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple story. So the things I did like, it's interesting setting. I think 1978 is better. I think the characters are probably shot better too, but this is shot fine though. Oh yeah, the scene in the hot tub kind of reminded me of Evil Dead. like the scene in Evil Dead when she's in the forest and the trees attack her. I don't know, but that I don't know if that was on purpose, but it kind of reminded me of it. So I liked Forrest Whitaker, Lee Army, and the ending I thought was really cool because they're like telling all the Lee Army's telling, you go to this base, you go to this base, you go to this base. That they're sending out the pods on army trucks throughout the U.S. And then when they escape it's a helicopter has missiles on it. She comes, they come back, and there's this voiceover, and it kind of reminded me of James Cameron's Terminator. I don't know, actually, a few parts in this movie reminded me of Terminator a little bit. It's like they're not human, that they've like become like cyborgs almost. I don't know if that was on purpose either, but the end scene with her voiceover where she's like, "We did the most human thing imaginable. We we attacked them." Um so yeah, I don't know. It's like the music kind of reminded me of it, the way it was shot. The voiceover, and then they start blowing up the convoy. They said nobody would believe us. That's what she says. Who could believe such a crazy story? I could hardly believe it myself. But this whole sequence, they had destroyed everyone I loved. Our reaction was only human. I just thought this sequence was really cool at the end. Revenge, hate, remorse, despair, pity, and most of all, fear. I remember feeling all those things as I watched the bombs explode. So, so yeah, like I said, Abel Ferrara is just kind of an interesting director. How I hated them, almost like how I hated the machines. It's like almost like a Sarah Connor voiceover. And this was 1993, so I what is Terminator 2 91 or 92? I don't know. I guess it's possible, but there's also Terminator 1, so I don't know. I'm not sure if that was on purpose. It just reminded me that, and then the shots of people dying and walking through the fire, just really reminded me of Terminator. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I was also like, yeah, that makes sense. That's exactly what I would do too. I mean, you have all these missiles, you might as well go and use them. It's like, yeah, they're probably gonna get out and spread it, but you could at least try and do something about it. So, but definitely some good body horror. Like in the 1978 one, I'd say it's even better than this one, but it's, what, 15 years later, so they've had time to have better effects. There's definitely some good practical effects in this, like when she's in the tub, I thought that was really good. And then when the bodies deteriorate, looks really good. Like how her father, now that was pretty obvious though, because the dad is like, he like leaves that he takes him, his daughter, and his son. They run away from his wife because she's dead. She's now a pod person, and he like hides them near this toxic stuff. Hides them, and he's like, "I'll be back." And then he goes and he's trying to find help, and he's trying to get weapons, and that's where he finds Forrest Whitaker. And then they cut away, and I'm just like, you're dead. Like, they're gonna assimilate you. You're dead. And then he shows up and he's like, okay, I have a car, let's go. and he's acting weird. And then he kind of tells them the secret though. He's just like, look, just act like them. Just act like emotionless, and they can't tell that you're human. But she doesn't buy it, so she stops the car. Her boyfriend comes out. He has a gun. She grabs the gun and shoots him. He falls on the ground, and his body just turns into mush and deteriorates. I was like, yeah, I was like 99% certain he was a pod person. I thought that was pretty obvious. He's like, I'll be back. I was like, no, no, you won't. No, you won't. Let's see. So so Stuart Gordon was originally set to direct, but was replaced by Abel Ferreira. Stuart Gordon, who made the Reanimator. Thought that was kind of interesting. I mean, who knows? Could have been good, but I think Abel Ferreira is a pretty good director too. So you know, wasn't a total loss. I wonder why he didn't do it. But he did Fortress. I don't think I've seen that. From Beyond. Haven't seen that. I like the Reanimator a lot. That movie's awesome. So I haven't really seen. Oh yeah, he did Honey I Shrunk the Kids. Oh wait, he did the TV show. No, he did the original. And Honey I Blew Up the Kids. Honey We Shrunk Ourselves. Those movies made tons of money back in the day. But I haven't watched those. Oh, Robot Jocks. It's a pretty bad movie. But the screenplay's by him, so okay, makes sense. His name's still on the screenplay. Wow, there's a bunch of people on the screenplay. Stuart Gordon, Dennis Paoli, Nicholas St. John. So yeah, then we have Body Snatchers is the third adaptation. Most critics thought the second Invasion movie, 1978, was the best. Yeah, Roger Ebert really liked this version. This is the third adaptation. Yeah, Meg Tilly, who played Gabriel Anwar's stepmother, is only 10 years older than her. Yeah, but it's a stepmother. But yeah, Roger Ebert, he gave it 4 out of 4 stars. I was like, wow, really? Ferrera version is set on an army base in the South and told through the eyes of a teenage girl named Marty, who has moved with her family. Her dad is a consultant. She doesn't really get along with her stepmother, although she likes her stepbrother. Before the family even arrives on base, Marty has been grabbed by a runaway soldier in a gas station restroom who shakes her and says they're out there. And they are. It gradually becomes clear that visitors from outer space have arrived near the army base, unloading pods that they store in a nearby swamp. The pods send out tentacles towards sleeping humans, the tentacles snaking up into the noses and ears and open mouths and somehow draining out the life force while the pod swells into a perfect replica of the person being devoured. When the process is complete, the leftover body is a shell. The new pod person looks and sounds just like someone you know and trust. If you could do me a favor and smash that like button, that'd be great. That really helps the channel. I really appreciate it. There is and he says, Ebert, there is a catch. They don't quite look right around the eyes. They don't seem to possess ordinary human emotions like jealousy. The goal is to occupy the human race rent free. And of course, once Marty understands what's happening, she can't get anyone to believe her. Ferrara, a talented but uneven director, is capable of making one of the best films of the year, Bad Lieutenant, and one of the worst, Dangerous Game. I haven't seen that. Here, working in a genre unfamiliar to him, he finds the right note in scene after scene. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if I give it a perfect score, but I liked it. There is horror here, especially in the gruesome scenes that show us exactly how the pods go about their sneaky business. But there is also ordinary human emotions as Marty and her boyfriend deal with the fact that people are changing into pods all around them. So, most important for a horror film, there are scenes of genuine terror. One shot in particular involving a helicopter is scary as everything in The Exorcist or Silence of the Lamb, and the fright is generated not by the tired old slasher trick of having someone jump out of the screen, but by careful establishment of the situation in which we fear, and then our fears are confirmed. So, yeah, I definitely agree. I really liked it. I would still say the 78 one's my favorite, but solid movie. So, um, but yeah, if you could smash that like button and like, comment, subscribe, that'd be great. Check it out though. Body Snatchers, 1993, another solid movie from Abel Ferrara or Ferrara. So, but I'll see you next time.